So it looks like congressional negotiations have hit a snag once again, and this is right before Congress is set to go on their 2 week Easter break. We are still experiencing a partial shutdown, and it makes sense when we look at the upcoming full moon in the sign of Libra. I'll tell you why. Hi, I'm intuitive astrologer Brandy Kahn. Welcome back to the Stellar Alignment Collective. Be sure to stay until the end because I've included a short Arcturian channeled message infused with healing energy to support you through this week's full moon. Now, let's jump into this week's astrology. We have a very powerful full moon taking place on Wednesday, April 1st at 12 degrees of Libra. And this is a moment that brings culmination and clarity, especially when it comes to relationships and on the world stage. So, full moons always represent a peak moment or a turning point, a time when something comes to completion or full awareness. And because this full moon is in the sign of Libra, which is the sign of balance, harmony, justice, and partnership, the spotlight is really on how we relate to one another. So when we're talking about Libra, Libra is all about fairness and equality and diplomacy. So during this time, you may notice that people are more willing to have important conversations or to seek avenues of compromise or to restore peace in their relationships. There's a natural desire right now to find common ground instead of conflict. And this makes it a really powerful time right now for negotiations, for resolving disagreements, for healing relationship dynamics. And I want you to remember, full moons don't just bring harmony, okay? They bring truth to the surface. So if something is out of balance, you're going to see it clearly. This full moon will be felt most strongly by those of you with planets or angles around 12 degrees of Libra, Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn. So if that's you, this could mark a major turning point or completion in the area of life connected to where Libra falls in your chart. So something may be coming to a close, reaching a peak, or asking for resolution in that area of your chart. The spiritual message around this full moon is that in each moment, you are choosing a version of yourself to empower or to bring to life. And I want you to think about, which version are you choosing? Are you choosing the version that works with others, that pursues harmony and pursues justice and wants equality and fair treatment for all? Or are you tuning into the version of yourself that's really focused on using force or aggression or creating conflict in order to get your way? Which version will you breathe life into? The choice is yours. Now, on a global level, this energy is very telling. Libra represents the people's desire for peace and for fairness and cooperation. And right now, we're seeing a strong collective push amongst the people of this country toward diplomacy over conflict. You can even see this in Congress because after 43 days of a shutdown, finally there was some hope. Some were trying to find a way to negotiate and allocate funds. So right now, many of us, many people in this country, we are craving resolution instead of escalation. We want collaboration instead of division. And we can see this in the latest polls, which say that about 6 in 10 Americans somewhat or strongly oppose deploying U.S. troops on the ground. At the same time, though, there may be tension because leadership decisions don't always reflect that same desire. So we're really seeing a contrast between the people wanting harmony and those in power acting from instinct, control, coercion, or force. And this really shows up as political deadlocks or delays or frustrations in systems or situations where compromise just really feels out of reach. Now, this full moon this week, it's really going to amplify that collective voice that calls for fairness, justice, and unity. Now, here's where things get even more intense. The ruler of this full moon is Venus in Taurus, and Venus in Taurus is forming a square to Pluto. And this may be the reason why congressional negotiations seem to have hit a dead end once again. Because when these two planets clash, Venus and Pluto, we see power struggles, manipulation, or hidden dynamics coming to the surface. And this can even play out in our relationships. This can play out also as well when it comes to money or finances, as well as on the global stage. So while there is a desire for peace, there may also be underlying tension that needs to be addressed honestly. Here are some things that you can do during this full moon to use the energy constructively. Have honest conversations. Say what needs to be said, but do it from a place of calm and clarity. Let's also seek balance. Look at where you may be over-giving or under-receiving. And it's the perfect time to resolve conflict, okay? This is a powerful time to restore harmony. Also, reflect on your relationships and ask yourself, are they aligned? Are they supportive? And are they fair? And let's not forget to release what is out of balance. Full moons are all about letting go. But during this time, I want you to remember to avoid people pleasing at your own expense. And let's also avoid passive aggressive communication. And if you're a parent, this is a time when your child may be especially sensitive to fairness and emotional balance. You might notice strong reactions to what feels unfair, or you might notice that they have a desire for connection and reassurance. So this is a beautiful opportunity to really teach emotional awareness and to model healthy communication. So show your child how they can resolve conflict peacefully and encourage them to express their feelings and remind them that their voice matters. In conclusion, this Libra full moon is a moment of truth. And while the world around you may feel really uncertain at times, you always have the ability to return to your center and to choose peace, to choose clarity, to choose alignment. And sometimes that's where real change begins. Stay tuned for the channeled Arcturian message and healing energy. We implore you not to lose hope and to feel as if things are working against you. For everything is always working in your favor, even if it appears to contradict this belief. Everything is working for you. Everything happening in your world around you at this time is bringing forth a new awakening, a new understanding, and therefore a new structure that will be put in place. So as it looks as if things are falling apart and chaos reigns, remember, everything is falling into place. Hold your vision of balance. Maintain your sense of being grounded and do not get swept into the hysteria. Maintain your belief that all things work together perfectly for the benefit of humanity.